In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use Facebook ads for beginners. Hi, I'm Curtis Penner with TheLeadSheep.com. This video was inspired by a blog post written by a gentleman named Adrian Toby, who's the CEO of Groundhog. Groundhog produces some of the very coolest CMS plugins for WordPress that I've found, and it's something that I use on all of my sites. I've put a link to the article down below in the description if you'd like to take a look at it. So the article is about how Groundhog built an audience without using any Facebook or Google ads. But it's what they had to say about their experience with Facebook ads, or specifically their failure with Facebook ads, that I found interesting. He goes on to say there were several reasons why our strategy didn't work. Number one, I didn't know what I was doing, so my ads sucked. Using Facebook ads when you don't know what you're doing is kind of like giving the keys to a Ferrari to a 16-year-old. It's guaranteed to be a wild, scary ride and almost always going to end up in destruction. So in this video showing you how to use Facebook ads for beginners, I want to give you a 10-point framework for creating your own effective Facebook ads, no matter how experienced or inexperienced you are with Facebook ads right now. Let's get into it. So the first step in creating Facebook ads is to define your audience. After canceling their Facebook ad campaign, Adrian said they had to take a new approach to reach their audience. This led the team to ask a crucial question: who is our ideal customer? And that's a question that you need to ask yourself as well. Facebook is arguably the most powerful platform for allowing you to find your ideal audience. It's estimated that Facebook collects up to 5,000 data points on each and every one of its users. Now, all of this data, while being a little bit creepy, can help you reach your ideal audience quite easily. They give you 5 basic ways to build an audience. The first type of audience you can build is one based on location, or where your ideal prospect lives. For most local businesses, this may be all that you need. If you want to reach everyone who lives or works within 1 mile of your restaurant, you can do that. You want to reach only those people who are visiting your city and offer them a discount at your gift shop, you can do that too. Or do you want to reach all residents of a particular neighborhood to let them know about your open house this weekend, or that you have a special on window cleaning? You can do that too. The second type of audience that you can build in Facebook is one using demographics. Things like age, gender, education, or profession can be used to target your ideal audience. The third type of audience you can build is one based on interests, and this is a really big one depending on the industry you're in. So you can easily build an audience based on what people are into. Everything from axe throwing to zombie apocalypse preparation, or axe throwing at zombies, can be used to help find your ideal prospect. The fourth type of targeting you can use in Facebook ads is based on behavior. Let's say you own a restaurant. You can have your ad shown to people who are having a birthday this month and offer them a free dessert for their birthday. If you're a wedding planner, have your ad shown to people who have just become engaged. And finally, you can create an audience based on connections. So in 2018, Facebook made a shift in what would be shown to you in your newsfeed. Surprisingly, they wanted to make the newsfeed more social and less commercial. The result was a really dramatic drop in reach for organic posts made to business Facebook pages. So for example, if you had 1,000 people who liked your business page on Facebook and you made a new post to that page, if you're lucky, maybe 20 people would see that post. So one way to make sure that all of the people who like your page see your content is to create an ad using your connections based on people who like your Facebook page, or even friends of people who like your Facebook page. Using these 5 different audiences isn't a one or the other type of thing. You can combine audiences and even exclude audiences to make sure that you hone in on exactly who you want to reach. So step 2 of our framework is to determine where your audience is on their journey to becoming a client. Every one of your prospective clients is on a journey, whether they know it or not. And this journey consists of 3 stages. 1 is the awareness stage. 2 is the consideration stage. And 3 is the decision stage. And we'll take a look at each one of those now. So every service exists to solve a problem or to deliver some kind of benefit. Sometimes your prospect is aware of the problem or the benefit, but they aren't aware that what you have to offer can help them. For example, let's say you're a plastic surgeon and you want to use Facebook ads to promote your procedure that's known as the mommy makeover, a combination of liposuction, tummy tuck, and breast augmentation. Your ideal audience, or women who have had children, may know all too well that they're not happy with the way they look after birthing and nursing multiple children. But they may not be aware of the mommy makeover as a potential solution for them. Now, other people simply aren't aware that they have a problem at all. An example of this would be a small business owner who might want more sales from their website, but they have no clue that they're driving sales away from their site simply because their site loads too slowly. That if they simply sped up how quickly their site loaded when someone clicked on their website, that they could increase sales. Okay, so once someone is aware of what they want, they move on to the next stage of the buyer's journey, which is consideration. Here they start searching for solutions and consider each one to determine which is the best one for them. So going back to my earlier example of the mother who wants to get into pre-baby shape, she has many options to consider. She can go on a diet to lose the extra fat, but which kind of diet? Keto, low carb, intermittent fasting, Weight Watchers? She can join a gym or do CrossFit. She can even take salsa dance lessons. Or she can get plastic surgery. So your job at this stage of the journey is to use Facebook ads to show your prospect why they should consider your option. And once your prospect has considered all of the options, it's time to make a decision. Actually, they have to make 2 decisions. 1, which solution is best for them, and 2, who's going to be the service provider to provide that solution for them. So at this stage, you need to use Facebook ads to build trust and demonstrate your expertise so that they feel comfortable giving you their money. Okay, so after you've determined who your audience is and where they are on the buyer's journey, it's time to determine your ad's objective. And this is step 3 of our framework. Your ad should have just one focus, and that's to take your prospect from where they are now to the next step in the journey. When you go to the Facebook Ads Manager, you see that they've broken down their ad objective types into 3 stages of the buyer journey for you. This makes it a little easier to decide which type of ad to use. You don't have to stick to only what they suggest. So for example, they recommend brand awareness and reach for awareness ads only. But I found that using traffic, video views, and engagement ads can be just as effective for audiences in the first stage of awareness as well. All right, step 4 in our Facebook ad framework for beginners, say that 10 times fast, is to stop the scroll. Think about how you use Facebook. You get your thumb going up and down, up and down, up and down. You're just flying through your news feed. And it takes something really interesting to get you to stop that thumb from moving and actually pay attention to it. So the second most important thing your ad needs to do to stop the scroll is to have an interesting hook. Now, a hook can be defined as writing that captures your reader's attention. I'm going to give you 6 different hooks that you can use and play with to see which one works best for your audience. Hook number 1 is to ask an interesting question. Questions make us stop and want to search for an answer. So for example, if you're a dog trainer, you could ask something like, want to know the biggest mistakes I see new dog owners make? If you're a new dog owner, that's going to get your attention and get you to stop the scroll. If you're a dentist, you could ask a question like, did you know that snails have 14,000 teeth and some can even kill you? And then from there, you just lead on into the ad. The second type of hook is to make a strong statement. So again, for the dog trainer, instead of asking a question, you could say, here's the biggest mistake new dog owners make and how to avoid it. For the dentist, you could start out by saying something like, if you brush your teeth but don't floss, ... and then lead into the ad. Hook number 3 is to use interesting facts and figures. Did you know that 78% of all researchers agree that numbers and statistics make people stop and read? Okay, I made up that statistic, but there's something about stats and numbers that make people stop and pay attention. Here are a few examples of how you could use stats in your Facebook ads. A digital marketing agency could start with an ad that says something like 93% of people aged 35 to 54 read online reviews before using a local business. And that's a true fact, by the way. A carpet cleaning company could say 50,000 cents. That's how many cents the nose can remember. If you were creating an ad for a funeral home, pre-planning service, you could use the fact that 56% of Canadians will die unprepared without a will. Okay, moving on to hook number 4. That is to use metaphors and similes. Metaphors and similes help create mental images for your audience and to simplify complex concepts into something more familiar. So for example, a dentist who wants to promote their painless treatments could say, if going to the dentist is like, well, pulling teeth, then check this out. Or a digital marketing agency could say something like, Facebook advertising is like dating. Or how about this from a credit counseling company? When you're struggling to make ends meet, it can feel like you're caught in a raging river, unable to breathe or reach safety. Hook number 5 is to tell a story. Long before written text or cave drawings, humans use stories to pass along information from one generation to the next. A well-written story can really grab attention, especially on Facebook. So how would you use this for a business? Well, for example, if you're a plumber, you could start a story with, I knew something was wrong when I woke up and my head was soaking wet. Looking at the ceiling, it became clear why. Now, let me make something clear here before I go any farther with the stories. I'm not saying that you just make stories up. It shouldn't be fairy tales and just making stuff up for the sake of making stuff up. Ideally, you want to base your stories on past clients' experiences with your company. So if you have a particular client that had a really dramatic event happen, then you could tell that story in your ads. A martial arts school could tug at the emotional heartstrings with a story like this. No mother wants to watch her son come home from school, barricade himself into his room to cry. But that was my son's life before he found your martial arts school. And here's one that I used for an actual client of mine. Feeling beat up and tired of working at a dead-end job, Dave decided it was time for a change. Okay, the final hook is to use a quote. A great way to use quotes as a hook is to use a quote from a happy customer. Now, you always want to do this with permission, of course, but if you can, you get a quote from your customer. Say they sent you an email and they're just raving about your business and about your service. You want to ask them for permission to take a snippet of that or to use the whole thing and just use that in your ad as the opening line, as the hook. Now, what if you don't have any clients data? You're just starting out. You can borrow quotes from famous people. So for example, if I was a counselor or a therapist advertising my work with postpartum depression, I might create an ad using a quote from the famous singer Adele. Because in a public interview, she said this, I was obsessed with my child. I felt very inadequate. I felt like I'd made the worst decision of my life. All right, so you've stopped the scroll with your hook. Now what do you do? Or more importantly, what do you want your prospects to do? Step 5 of the Facebook ads framework is to give your audience a clear and unambiguous call to action. If you want someone to click a link, tell them to click a link. If you want someone to call you, tell them to call you, and be sure to put your phone number in the ad. Okay, with your hook and call to action set, it's time for step 6 in our Facebook ad framework, and that is to decide on your ad format. Facebook gives you a variety of ad formats to choose from. So if your budget allows, you want to test a few of them to see what the audience will respond to best. Now, the 2 most popular ad formats are video and image ads. Many Facebook ad experts sing the praises of video. And they're right, video ads can be really effective, more than any other type of format that's available to you. They're versatile, they convey more emotion than images, and they help to provide a lot of information in a short period of time. But it can be expensive to produce, it can be time consuming to create, and it can be counterproductive if done poorly. In other words, a really badly done video can actually be harmful to your business rather than helpful. So what I recommend for you, the beginner, someone who's just starting out with Facebook ads, is stick to the image ad format. All right, now once you've got the format decided on, it's time for the next step. And this is the most important element for stopping the scroll and getting people to pay attention to your ad. Step number 7 is to choose your creative. So if you've decided to go with an image ad, now's the time to create your image or create your video if you're going to use a video ad. Here are some tips for creating scroll-stopping images and video. 1 is to use real, smiling people, ideally of you, your staff, or your customers. But even stock photos will work well if you pick the right one. It's been proven again and again that people respond to smiling faces. So if possible, use them in your ads. The second tip is to choose images that are relevant to your ad copy. Remember the example I gave earlier of how a dentist can use an interesting fact as a hook? Well, you might think that if you're doing an ad for a dentist, you want to use a picture of the ad. But if I'm talking about snails and the number of teeth that they have, you want to use an actual picture of a snail. The next tip is to choose cute or funny animals when you can. Here's an example of an image I used in an ad that was both cute and funny. Well, I think it was funny anyway. But more importantly, it was relevant to the text in my ad. Another tip is to use color and contrast. Anything that blends in with the Facebook blue news feed is going to get lost as people just thumb their way through the news feed. So you want to use bright colors or contrasting colors to catch their attention and get them to pay attention to what your ad is saying. And the final tip is to use images that show you doing what you do. By using an image or video showing you doing what you do, it helps to build trust with the viewer and can help people get more comfortable with you. Okay, we're at step 8 in the Facebook ad framework, and that is to have somebody proofread your ad. It's embarrassing to admit, but I've done this more than once on my own. I got so excited to create the ad and get through the ad process that I hit publish, and when you know it, I've got spelling mistakes, I've got grammar mistakes, and nothing kills credibility more than an ad with spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. Instead of focusing on your ad's message, people are going to be focused on that one single word that you misspelled. And then they're going to fill up the comment section telling you how stupid you are for making that honest mistake. So make sure you get another set of eyes on the ad before you hit the publish button. Step 9 in our Facebook ads framework is to use trackable UTM links. The best way for you to know how effective your ads are is to use trackable links. UTM stands for Urchin Traffic Monitor, which refers to an analytics software called Urchin Tracker. This software served as the base for Google Analytics, which is now the most popular program that people use to analyze their website traffic. So why is it so important to use trackable links? Because you'll be able to tell how many people landed on your website, how long they were on the website once they get there, and what did they do to interact with your site? Did they visit other pages or did they just bounce away right away after landing on your page? So creating a UTM link is easy and can be done right inside the Facebook Ad Campaign Builder. There's really no excuse not to use them. One thing you want to do before you hit the publish button, other than have somebody proofread it, of course, is to let your ad sit and I call percolate for about 48 to 72 hours. Creating the perfect Facebook ad is a lot like creating the perfect souffle. It's important that when you publish that ad, you don't open the door too soon, so to speak, on your Facebook ad. Facebook's algorithm is crazy good at getting your ad in front of people who are most likely to take the action that you want them to take. But it needs time to work. And that's especially true if you have a smaller budget. If you publish your ad only to make changes in the next few hours, 3 hours later, 4 hours later, or the next day, you don't give the algorithm a real good chance to work. In fact, you reset the algorithm back to 0. So now it has to start collecting information over and over again to be able to give you the right data and let you know whether it's working or not. Now, if you're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a day, you may not need to wait 72 hours, but still a good idea is to give it a couple of days, give it 48 hours, have patience, and let Facebook do its thing for those 2 days, collect the information so that you can make the right decision on whether or not the ad is working for you. If you found this video helpful, would you do me a favor? Would you just go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down below? And if you're interested in learning how to harness the power of online marketing to become the lead sheep in your market, hit that subscribe button and enable the notifications bell so you don't miss any upcoming content. And if you've got questions or suggestions on future videos, leave them for me down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get to each and every one of them. Until next time, I'm Curtis Penner. Thanks for watching.